Welcome back to the Midday Mumbles Podcast, episode 34. I'm Gage.
I'm Isaac.
And I'm Brody.
And this is episode 34. But before we get into it, now a word from our sponsor. Hey, I'm Gage from the Midday Mumbles Podcast. I strongly believe if you want to start a podcast today for free, you need Anchor.fm. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. And the best part is, it's completely free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer anytime. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard across all the major platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more epic platforms available for free. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm to get started today for free. Again, that's Anchor.fm. One more time, that's ANCHOR.fm. I can't wait to see what you create. And we're back. How is everyone doing this week?
Hot. I'm sweating. I'm at the Gage office.
Yes, he's at the Aurora
hot.
7 Studios office here in North Anson, Maine. And it is really hot here. Today was an 80-degree day. This building has an air conditioner, but the air conditioner is not in service right now. So my office is around 80 degrees every day.
It is not very nice. I've got to say.
And the guy still wears a sweatshirt.
Wait,
Yes,
really? You're wearing a sweatshirt right now?
I'm not wearing a sweatshirt. I'm wearing a long-sleeve, thin polo shirt.
What's wrong with you?
Well, I didn't know what the temperature was going to be. So
Do you not check the
We
weather?
don't care.
Well, I did check the weather, but I guess I didn't realize it was going to be this hot. Because usually when we have 90-degree days, because of the fact that the office isn't usually in direct sunlight, the office is usually around 10 degrees cooler. So I was expecting a mild 79 to 80-degree day.
I see.
It really heated up.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but yeah, the air conditioner should be back within a couple weeks, or within the week or so. But hey, you guys don't know this, but we are recording this on a Wednesday.
Very
Why?
far in advance.
And we are
Pre-recorded
recording
one.
the next episode in 2 days. Why are we doing this? Well, Brody's going away, and Brody
Come on,
wanted to be.
Brody.
Yeah, Brody,
What the
where are
heck?
you going, man?
Bye-bye.
Yeah, when you're listening to this, Brody is gone. So we'll see Brody back in like 3 episodes.
Where are you
Don't
going,
worry.
Brody? What are you
All the
doing?
episodes
Well, no,
are gonna have him.
I'll be in each of the episodes.
Yes, but Brody is really not going to be around when these episodes come out.
Even-
And I'm
what-
having my wisdom teeth out the following
What
week.
is Brody doing, though? I need...
Oh, you guys, you
didn't-
care
you
about what
didn't
Brody's doing.
share.
but I say I'm having my wisdom teeth
Well,
out.
yeah,
you're like,
whatever.
good for
Wisdom
you.
teeth,
We'll
bloody,
get to
bloody,
that. We'll get to
blah.
that.
Brody. Everyone's here for Brody.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going camping.
Yeah, he's going. I don't know.
So
I'm
you're
not gonna say
telling
where
me-
he's
In an
going, but-
undisclosed
You're telling
location,
me-
and I will be fishing.
Undisclosed. Yes.
You're telling me that fishing and camping is more important to you than the Midday Mumbles podcast?
We are, dude, I don't know if you realize this, but we are on the Midday Mumbles podcast right now.
Yes.
I know. I do
Brody,
realize
Isaac
that.
is here for the first time recording, which is a surprise.
Yeah,
The reason
I'm
he's
at the
here
Gage
is
office.
because his kitchen was very busy tonight, so he had to. He
No, he's
decided
here
to come
because
to the
he's part of the
office.
team.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's part of the
Yeah.
Midday Mumbles team. I'm glad to have you
We're
here,
building
Isaac.
teamwork by being,
I mean, I might
Yeah.
have
In
to
adjacent
wait to come
rooms.
back to the office when the AC is installed, and then maybe I'll come and hang out at the office some more. But this
Honestly,
might be.
though, I don't really know what they're like. Okay, when I had my office at home for like all my years, it was almost like I always, I always had something to do. Now that I'm at the office, as soon as I'm finished with work, it's almost like, okay, time to go home. You know what I mean? It's like it clicks. I don't play video games anymore. I do, but I don't really play them during business hours. So it's very, it's different. It really
it's time
is
to
different.
grow up. Gage is
Yeah.
no longer a kid. We're putting the video games down.
So I think the office has really kind of matured me a lot, actually. I say for the better.
Is there something wrong with playing video games? Is there
No, there's
something
nothing wrong with
inherently
playing-
childish about playing video games?
Well,
Yes.
the thing with video games is I find myself staying up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning every day playing games with you guys in the summer. And you just really can't do that because you're not productive the next day. So I find myself, like if my friends were on towards the 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m. time, maybe I'd start playing again. But the reality of it is Isaac doesn't even roll out of bed till about 3 p.m. So,
Video games don't fit into the normal workday.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
I mean, if I had my computer at home, I might play for an hour or two, but
okay, but here's the thing. Most adults, they watch TV and that's what they do, but
right.
I feel like video games will eventually, you start watching TV as a thing that people are doing, because what's so interesting about TV? I don't even like watching TV.
Entertainment. It's a form of entertainment.
But it sucks.
I get your argument.
With the way people are obsessed with Netflix, you honestly think video games are going to take them away from that?
I don't think so. Birdie's right.
I think in time.
The streaming the streaming services are stronger than ever. Disney Plus is coming out with exclusive Star Wars shows, and Netflix is coming out with some of the best originals on TV. HBO is doing a really good job.
10 years from now. I'm not even saying 20 years from now. I'm saying at some point, in the future, I feel like people will be more into the interactive type media, the interactive type entertainment than TV. Because TV, you're just sitting there. You're just sitting there and processing what's on screen. It's not that interesting.
They're kind of working out movies on Netflix that you can interact with. So, like, you can pick a different story route. They did that with a few animated shows for kids. Nobody wants to do that.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, no, I'm just saying, it's kind of interesting. I wouldn't do that, but it's kind of intriguing.
Do you want Mackenzie to swipe left on random dude on Tinder or swipe right on random dude on Tinder?
Yeah, I
Let
think
me
that
grab
just
my TV remote and
Are you saying
decide.
Tinder is interactive media?
No. I'm saying like that's the future Netflix shows. You have and Ayup white girl on her cell phone, and that's how the movie starts, right? And she's like, "Oh, this is a creepy looking dude. Do I want to swipe left or right?" And then you're like, "Swipe right on that creepy dude." And then
I genuinely think that would make a funny game.
The movie experience turns into her getting sexual assault, or the guy getting sexual assault charges because of her swiping right and going on a date with him. That's what it turns into.
That's
what I'm just seeing.
Turning into.
That's what I'm seeing.
Basically, if you want to have an experience like that, just go on Tinder. The game is literally there on Tinder. Just if you really don't want to talk to people, just put an ugly buffoon as your profile photo, and you won't get any matches.
Well, yeah, but why would you use Tinder if you don't want to get matches?
Well, maybe you just like the swiping game. Maybe that just makes your brain feel good. Maybe you're like, oh boy, I really love this.
I mean, I don't see what's so great about swiping around.
To be honest, Isaac, I don't either. But this conversation is very weird. So I'm going to move into our first topic. What do you think about that?
I think you're choosing to make the podcast last for a shorter amount of time than it could. This could have been very interesting, and I personally am disappointed in you.
We're not having an open discussion about. Wait, what were we talking about again?
I think I don't know what it is, but the internet here is good, but I think everyone is having a hard time connecting.
Oh, am I coming in bad on your side?
Brody, I don't even know if Brody's talking or not, to be honest.
No, I'm not talking yet. I was talking. Okay.
We need to stop.
We're having technical difficulties, guys listening. We're having technical difficulties, so don't worry about that. That's what happens when you have to pre-record episodes very quickly. So we're gonna move into our first topic, and that is Brooks. I don't know his first name, but there was another African American shot and killed, and protesters decided to blow up a Wendy's to take revenge on the cops.
Rayshard Brooks.
Yeah.
Brooks, yeah.
There it is.
I got to tell you something. Not to veer off topic, but this morning I was scrolling through Twitter, and there was this post on Twitter trending, and it was of this cop. Now, she was doing a video talking about her experience going at a McDonald's, and this was recently. She was talking about how she went up to the window and ordered, and she had to wait 20 minutes, and then they told her to pull off. It was like a 40-50 minute wait, and she ordered a coffee and a McMuffin or whatever, and they'd come out with a coffee but not the food, and she was like, I can't trust, you know what I mean, because they could be in there poisoning it, because she's a cop. Yeah. She was driving in her cop car, And she broke down crying in the video. She's like, I can't trust anyone anymore because of this. And I was reading some very disgusting comments of people saying, a black man was killed, but this white girl is crying about her Egg McMuffin. It's like, listen, that is very disrespectful. She's serving and protecting, and she's upset because of how her industry is getting treated at this point in time.
It's not an industry. Calling it an industry is...
but her job, how her fellow colleagues are being treated at this time. And she's honest to God upset. And these people are talking like it doesn't matter.
Right. People are completely devaluing the life of these police officers. They're acting like they're animals that they need to be controlled, and no, they're people
or exterminated.
They're people.
It's kind of
they're people just like you. Now shut up,
But it's disgusting because, when I first listened to the video, I was a little, skeptical because I didn't know what it was. I was reading comments of people saying, oh, it's just this white girl crying about her Egg McMuffin. But it's like, no, it's deeper than that. Why are we treating cops so badly who are protecting and patrolling the streets so that we can live in a free country, a safe country?
Right, just because a couple of people...
I guess
they're all getting the flack for just that one guy, those couple guys. It's like, really?
I can understand some of it. Like, people, if you genuinely think that there is racial bias in systems, you should be protesting. I think that's a good thing. People should protest about things they're passionate and upset about. But the amount of aggression and the amount of hatred towards the police officers in these protests, riots, both of them, it's dangerous and it's not good.
But yeah, I agree. But we shouldn't be treating police officers. They're human beings. They're like you or I. And I'm saying this to the people listening. Yes, there are bad cops, but that doesn't mean they're all bad. And that doesn't mean that you should treat, the one patrolling the street like an ass. You know what I mean? You don't treat them like crap.
No.
You ask them how their day is, just, you know what I mean? Just be nice to them.
A lot of them are kind of jerks, honestly. I think the police officer job does attract a certain type of person, but it's not fair to just judge someone based off of their badge. But
this woman was scared to eat the food from McDonald's because what if an employee in there poisoned it?
Yeah, no,
that is honest to God. How do you go around about your day? Cops have enough fear when they put on that suit and badge, patrolling. They could be shot,
right?
They could be killed. But you really have to. Why can't they go through a fast food restaurant and be treated like every other person? Oh, I ordered this. Here you go, ma'am. Or here you go, sir. Why are we treating these people like shit? The people that protect us.
I think it's a lot of respect is lost. People when Donald Trump was elected, they couldn't just respect him because he, gained the position of being the president. It's like, no, we don't have to respect that anymore. And it's the same thing with cops. A couple of cops mess it up for everyone, and we don't need to respect the cops anymore. And we never need to respect the cops anymore from this point on. We don't have a sense of importance for respecting certain people in certain positions in the country anymore.
Right. And it's not like this woman was like one of the ones that killed the cop or the black or the African American. This is an innocent police officer who wanted breakfast at McDonald's.
Yeah.
And she broke down crying on a video because of the fear. And people on Twitter are treating her like a piece of garbage.
Sick.
Well, maybe what she's feeling is a little bit of hype culture. Where was she doing this?
She was in her car. And she was recording.
Where in the country was this? Populated area, unpopulated area, what?
To be honest with you, I don't know. I think it was popular. The video took off. McDonald's was trending for like 6 hours on Twitter because of all this. But obviously,
for her, it might be a little bit of hysteria. I mean, it's very easy to get worked up when all you see on the media is just craziness, you know?
Yeah.
Her name was Stacy. She's been a cop for 15 years.
Well, and
she paid for the food in advance, actually.
What do you mean in advance?
Well, she paid for it in advance. Her reasoning was because people sometimes pay for cops. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'll pay for the cops, whatever." You know, you have to see the video, I suppose, but
yeah, okay.
But
well, I mean, and it's got to be especially scary for police because like almost all the news coverage is anti-police right now. All of these stations are being, you know, heavily against them.
I posted the video if you want to listen to it, but yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
It's jeez. Oh, it was in I don't know where the hell it was, but anyway, I don't know. It's disgusting. It really is. Treat these people with respect. I mean, okay, it's hard because I don't want to come out here and say that everyone's wrong for protesting because they're not.
Right.
And if they're against something, that's fine. But treat them like human beings. Don't be like, oh, you're a cop, you wear a badge, so you're under me, you're disgusting. Don't do that because they're human beings too. You know, they did nothing wrong, as far as we know. But yeah, I mean,
the whole discussion about do they need more training? I think that's perfectly reasonable. They're really not trained very heavily, and for the job they have, that comes with a lot of responsibilities. They should be really well versed in how to handle. I've even thought about maybe they should have some sort of renewal they have to do to keep their badge, to be able to keep, you know, being a police officer. They should have to renew their understanding every, I don't know, period of time. But I mean, the amount of illogical ideas that are being thrown around, like completely get rid of the police, is absolutely absurd. And a lot of the news coverage is saying that that's not necessarily what they want, but it kind of is, because Antifa is full-on anarchy supporting. I mean, they're a bad group, they're bad people. I mean,
bad
it's just
group,
not
bad
good.
People. Wow.
No, it isn't good at all. But
so talking about whatever his name, Brooks, blah blah blah. You had it just a second ago. Rayshard Brooks. There we go.
Rayshard Brooks.
And the CNN, I was watching CNN coverage of the Rayshard Brooks, him getting shot, and I was watching Fox coverage of Rayshard Brooks getting shot, and what they chose to show between the two really surprised me. Like I've been aware that there's news media bias, but I just didn't expect it to be this egregious. If you watch the CNN footage, at least whatever I watched, it just shows the body cam on one of the police officers, and it falls off at the time. Like, it's pointing up towards the sky when he shoots him, and you don't see any of what goes on. You see them fight for a little while. The camera falls over, you hear gunshots, and they're like, he was completely unarmed, he was completely innocent, he did nothing wrong, he was just running away, and this police officer just shot him. That's not what happened. The Fox coverage, on the other hand, it showed some body cam footage, it showed some like dash cam footage from one of the vehicles, and it showed some footage from what I would imagine is a security camera at the Wendy's. And what really happened is Rayshard Brooks, he ripped a taser off of one of the police officers. He was on a ground fight with both of them. He rips a taser off of the holster of one of the police officers and then goes to run. And as he's running, one of the police officers starts chasing him and tries to tase him, right? And he goes ahead and he points the taser gun back at the police officer. And when he points it back and shoots the taser, that's when he gets shot.
Yeah, but they cut that away. They cut that off of CNN.
Right, yeah, CNN didn't show that. CNN didn't show him committing the massive crime of shooting a taser, a less than lethal weapon, not a not lethal weapon, a less than lethal weapon at a police officer. you do not do anything aggressive towards police officers and expect to live, let alone point a type of gun at him. If we expect our police officers to not shoot when these people have weapons, then we're going to see a lot of dead police officers. And quite frankly, I don't think we have enough bridges in the state to make commemorative bridges everywhere like we did for whatever his name was in Norwalk. Remember how big of an ordeal that was when that police officer died? Imagine how many cops would start dying if they're not allowed to protect themselves.
Brody, what was that cop's name? You know who he is. They named a bridge after him.
Yes. Cole.
Shit. It was a year ago.
Eugene Cole.
It was 2 years ago, actually.
Eugene Cole, yeah.
It was Eugene Cole. Oh, I just saw on Facebook that a state trooper is in serious condition after being hit in a car during a high-speed chase. So wonderful.
Who?
So
wonderful.
And I would like to talk more about the dangers of what CNN is doing by not showing all the footage they could and clearly deliberately trying to sway the people view what happened. That this is a very sensitive time for this sort of a topic. People are already really angry about it. They're up in arms. They are pissed off, and they will hurt people. And if you don't show the full footage, people will get more angry and people will die. This is not a joking matter.
No.
This is not a matter to play around with the footage and not show people what you could show. Exactly. The news should always be showing the full truth. They should not have an objective point, and let alone one that's so aimed towards violence. It's evil. And it's sad and it's sick, and I makes me sad every day to think how ignorant, but not ignorant is in a sense of you dummy head, but people don't realize how much the news is swayed.
But no one's ever going to change. It's never going to change.
Well, right, I think it will change because I see a trend going on, and that's just policemen leaving their jobs. You know, that'll change things pretty quick when enough of them do it.
No, but
it's not going to change the perception of the public. It's not like people are going to be like, "Oh, I love cops."
What do you mean? I think that'll change the perception. When people understand that we need the police, that'll change their perception. People are never going to
understand that, though. You can't fix stupid, and a lot of these people are just plain out stupid. I mean, I
don't think this. I think a lot of people are just deceived. I think a lot of people don't understand things to the fullest,
fair enough,
And I think a lot of people are just so heavily skewed by the amount of one direction media coverage. The media that's pointing everything in one perspective. That's all they see, and then they see people. That's the people that are vocal about it. The people that think that way. And people, I think, just get swayed by that because no one wants to go against the grain. That's a scary thing. It's a scary thing to just openly talk about things that are against what a lot of people believe in because people will dislike you for that. Which is too bad. It's too bad that we live in a country like the United States where you really can't speak what you think because people will get so upset about it.
We're living in the communist United States.
Yeah, right.
Basically.
Not
yet. No,
soon
give it
to
some
be.
time. Give it a year
when Chaz takes over the whole United States, then we'll be living in communist United States.
I don't know what to do now because you want to know something. It's difficult because if we do anything, we're going to be considered racist. And if we're considered racist, and the media is going to paint a bad picture of us, and they're going to make more people think like they are, right? We're going to have more people like, oh, well, these people are bad, et cetera, et cetera.
Quite frankly,
you're never going to be able to change anything, right? You're never going to be able to change people's minds because no matter what, the biggest superpower of the world is the media. If the media doesn't like something, all they have to do is run a story and make you look bad, and you're no longer reputable. And that means that unless you're on the media side, then there's no way you're going to get anything passed that doesn't. That's why politics is so hard nowadays, because the media knows what they want, and if the media doesn't get what they want, then they cry about it, and they make you look bad, and they do anything in their power. The only way that anything is going to change is if the U.S. government steps in and says, hey, you guys need to follow these regulations. But then you have the problem, well, we live in a free country, freedom of speech and freedom of the press. So technically, under the Constitution, any media outlet should be able to post whatever they want, because that's how the law works. That's how the Constitution works.
Okay, but here's the thing. Most of these media companies and most of these, well, not necessarily media companies, but most of like Facebook and YouTube, all those services, they get immunity because they're not a publisher. They are exactly. CNN is responsible for what they publish, and CNN can post whatever they want, but they do blatantly lie to people about being unbiased.
Then we really have to have a certain definition of what is journalism. Then, like, what would be the definition of journalism? Because under the freedom of the press, you should be able to report whatever you want. So it just looks very like there's a lot of hypocrisy. That's all.
Right. People should be getting mad about CNN and stopping watching them. And people should be getting mad about ABC, CBS, all of them. That's what needs to happen to stop them. That's the way that the system that we have currently is supposed to do. People, if they get upset about what these services are doing, then they can stop using them and then they'll phase out of existence. That's really the optimal system. But unfortunately, I don't think people realize how bad it is. At least I might be misunderstanding it too. But my understanding is that it's really bad, and my understanding is that most people don't see that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But the only thing that we can really do is hope that people start to, realize what's going on, because, like I was saying, the media is a superpower. If you are on the media side, then you're most likely gonna win any battle. Right. Because they are going to run stories. Actually, there was a story recently about a journalist from the liberal side who went ahead and contacted Google. I actually saw an article on this today. Contacted Google and said that it was the Federalist, and there's another. Have you ever heard of the Federalist? It's a conservative news website. And they went to Google and said, hey, they posted a racist article. The article wasn't racist. It just disagreed with the liberal opposition. And Google contacted them and said, if you don't delete your comment section, because we don't want people to have a conversation, and that's not what they said, but that's what they implied. Right. We're going to demonetize your site. So the Federalists decided they were going to take all the comments off, and they didn't get demonetized. But the other website, which is pretty huge, decided to leave the comment section, and now Google cut off their entire revenue stream.
Good for them.
What?
Good for them to take a stand against Google.
But they are probably going to go bankrupt.
Well, yeah, it sucks. But hopefully it gets some news coverage. Hopefully people get mad. That's what should happen.
The only news outlet that reported on this, surprise, was Fox.
Well, yeah. I mean,
and I read stuff from the Federalist. A big problem is
I feel like a lot of people don't watch Fox because they think it's all racist and bigoted because it's conservative.
My thing with Fox is I just don't want to listen to crap all the time. I don't want to, like, I understand the situation, but I don't want journalists to spew their opinions down my throat. Now, Fox, some shows they do, like Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson, but I enjoy listening to what they have to say, because I like to think, and they open my eyes on some things, but I do also enjoy to read the opposition. Like, I do sometimes read CNN articles, and I compare my notes. But
I think if the optimal news coverage would be one that ease healthy discussion between people on matters. So, people that believe different things are the people that are talking about what's going on, what's happening, and they will discuss amongst themselves and to the camera, of course, about what they think of it, and some healthy debates might stem from that. Someone, I disagree
Tucker
with
Carlson
what you just said.
has his show very perfectly because he likes to have healthy debates, but the thing is, a lot of the liberal opposition, like we run a podcast and we've wanted to have liberals on many times, Democrats, but you invite a Democrat on a show, they're going to be like, no, because I don't want my opinion picked apart.
Arguably, we haven't tried to invite any. Well, have we? Have you invited any?
We haven't yet, but a lot of like Fox, they try and invite, like Tucker Carlson, he's talked about it before. People deny invitations because they just don't want to come on the show because they know that people like Tucker and Hannity aren't idiots. They're not going to sit there and let this person or this politician spew crap down their throats. No,
sure,
they're going to fight back, and it's going to be a battle.
Carlson would just kind of dunk on him. I feel not. Obviously, you're not gonna go to something that you're obviously gonna lose.
I mean, even if the Democrat won the debate, it's still like Tucker isn't gonna just let that go. Tucker's gonna try and find a way, regardless. I mean, you can't cuck the tuck. That's kind of that's the meme. You can't cuck the tuck because he's not gonna let you. Brody's icon's lighting up. Brody's laughing. I can't hear him though, but yeah.
What do you mean you can't hear me?
I can't hear you. Your audio. Can you hear him, Isaac?
I heard him phase in there a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say with this Brooks issue, after everyone got all upset about it, which I mean, if their understanding was that it's bad, they should get upset about it. But they did something they shouldn't do. They burnt the Wendy's down. Why would you do that? You don't screw with
Wendy's. Isaac will come for you.
I love Wendy's.
Isaac's like, I will find you, and I will kill
whatever. Take over 6 blocks of land in Seattle, whatever. Burn down a Wendy's. Wendy's is go burn down a McDonald's. Who even cares about McDonald's?
Isaac, you remember that scene from Taken where Liam Neeson's like, I will find you, and that's gonna be you. Yeah. You're gonna be on the phone with the bomber and be like, I will find you, and I'll kill you. You stole my Biggie back meal, you motherfucker. How dare you steal my spicy nuggets? My fries and Baconator. Jesus Christ. Okay, anyway.
Okay, but yeah, being a little more serious.
Sorry.
But the Wendy's had nothing to do with it. Why would you burn that business down? Are you not a supporter?
I don't think Wendy's is pressing charges either. I think Wendy's just like, okay.
Are these people that are rioting not supporters of free enterprise? Are they not supporters of a business?
Good chicken sandwiches, bro. What's going on?
Are they not supporters of the Baconator? There we go. I almost said Big Mac, and that's McDonald's. That's the one you can torch.
I don't know what fast food is. Wait, they don't like that. They don't like the McMeal deal or something.
We don't condone torching any fast food restaurants, by the way.
Besides McDonald's. I might vaguely.
We're proudly sponsored by McDonald's.
No. I want that Wendy's sponsorship.
So, I think we're going to take a break. Here's a word from our sponsor. Hey, I'm Gage from the Midday Mumbles Podcast. I strongly believe if you want to start a podcast today for free, you need Anchor.fm. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. And the best part is, it's completely free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer anytime. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard across all the major platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more epic platforms available for free. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm to get started today for free. Again, that's Anchor.fm. One more time, that's ANCHOR.fm. I can't wait to see what you create. And we're back, moving into our next topic.
Okay, I want you both to think back to your houses.
Okay.
How many pairs of active shoes do you have right now?
What do you mean active shoes?
Like shoes you wear on a daily basis?
Well, no, you can't wear all the shoes on a daily basis, but I mean, give yourself a whole month. Are you gonna wear all those pairs of shoes?
I wear one pair of shoes.
Okay. Let me get into this. Yeah, I've got a pair of Sperry's on too right now, and these are I have one pair of like shoes that I wear, right? I have another pair of shoes
from the way I see it, it both looks like you both wear the same shoes constantly.
Yeah, I pretty
much wear this pair of shoes everywhere. But I have several pairs of shoes. I have
sandals that I sometimes wear, but I don't usually wear them.
Can the guy just speak on the Midday Mumbles podcast, Gage?
What?
Can a guy just speak on the Midday Mumbles podcast?
What are you talking about?
I'm trying to talk about my shoes.
I didn't know you were talking.
Oh, well, whatever. Okay, so I've got my Sperry's that I wear
Sperry's
everywhere,
are pretty
right?
good shoes.
Okay,
Sperry's are really good shoes. I prefer Sperry's.
I've got two pairs of sneakers. Okay, one is like hiking sneakers. Those are my old indoor sneakers, right? I have a pair of indoor sneakers, and then my older pair of indoor sneakers I wear outside. So like if I'm mowing the lawn, if I'm going hiking, you know, whatever. Those are the I wear those junk sneakers, and I have the good sneakers, which I would wear inside if I was like working out or something. And then I have my Sperry's, like repeating that. So 3 pairs of sneakers, and then I have another junk pair of sneakers, which was the sneakers before these ones that I just like slap on if I'm walking up to the car because the backs on them will broken, and who even cares?
Okay,
so I have essentially 4 pairs of sneakers, but it's really 3 because the other one should be thrown away. I just use them as like
boots?
Slippers if I'm
Do you
going
have a pair
outside.
of rubber boots?
I have a lot of old shoes that we have in the cabinet, or not in the cabinet, but in the closet. But actively, I wear my Sperry's everywhere. Sometimes I have some hybrid bean boots that Brody's seen.
Bean boots?
No, they're not bean boots. They're like hybrid
slippers.
They're like they're like bean slippers, but they're not really. They're shoes to wear outside.
I was gonna say, are you a white girl?
What?
Wearing your bean boots, going to Starbucks?
Bean boots are very popular.
Got your hydro flask?
Shut up. Okay. But I don't really wear them other than the winter time. Sometimes I brought them hiking with Brody once, but he thought they were pretty gay. So
no, that's not what I said.
I wear my Sperry's mostly everywhere. But I have
said you were gonna freeze. You were gonna get frostbite because they weren't even.
Yeah, I know. I was wearing wool socks though. So I have old pairs of shoes that I wore 3 years ago. I've worn Sperry. I've gotten Sperry's for the past 3 years. I usually get a new pair every year because that's usually how long my shoes start to last. Like my soles are starting to rip out now, so I'll probably get a new pair soon. Probably within the next couple months. Probably around September I'll upgrade. And then those shoes will go in the closet depending on the condition. If they're like really bad, I throw them away. But if they're like, yeah, okay, then they go in the closet just in case. You never know when you're gonna need your old shoes. But my shoe size is extremely huge. I have a size 15 shoe, and my foot has not really grown for 5 years now, so I could basically wear any shoe from the last 5 years. But yeah.
So do you not wear those old sneakers just because they're worn out?
Old sneakers?
Or old shoes? Do you not wear the old shoes that you have because they're worn out?
Not usually unless I absolutely have to. Like I have a pair of...
Is it because they're worn out though? Or is it just because
usually
you're done
because
with them?
they're usually in really bad condition when I pass them over, because I don't like to waste my shoes.
Right.
I'm not the kind of guy that likes to have 16 different pairs of shoes sitting around. I usually only have one pair every season. And by season, I mean like... I consider like the entire year a season, so like I wear my Sperry's, and then recently I've been upgrading to Sperry's, and I'll probably get another pair of Sperry's because they're very comfortable.
Yeah, honestly,
but,
I used to be a Vans shoe kind of guy.
Actually, same.
And I was when I was buying this pair of sneakers, I was like gonna go buy another pair of Vans. And these Sperry's, they looked very similar to Vans, but honestly, I think they're a little bit more stylish, and they're way more comfortable. Like, Vans kind of suck. They're not comfortable. I went through a little phase
in high school, freshman year, where I was like, I gotta look cool. So I was getting Vans. Yeah, I was getting these Vans shoes. The first generation of freshman year, my Vans were kind of crappy. They weren't crappy, but they were black, and they looked like gangster shoes. Yeah, so I think it was
Daddy Gage in the house.
It was like junior year. I said I go to the there's a place in Augusta. It's like not Foot Locker. It's it's this big shoe warehouse, and they have a ton of different shoes.
Famous Footwear. Yeah,
so
I go there a lot too.
I used to go to New Balance. I used to wear New Balance shoes when I was growing up. That was all I wore was New Balance. And I decided I wanted to switch to Vans one time, and that was 8th grade, I think. And I got Vans from this footwear place. And then a few years in, I think it was junior year, I said to myself, well, I really like the look of these Sperry's. I had a pair of Sperry's boat shoes growing up because my grandfather wore boat shoes. My dad has a pair of boat shoes. Everyone in my family has boat shoes except me. So I got a pair of boat shoes, but I never liked wearing them around because they were very loose. The ones I got were bigger than my foot because I was supposed to grow into them. So I kind of never really wore them. And then I decided I couldn't find. Actually, I think I sold them no, I didn't. I don't know where the hell they are, but they're in a box somewhere. So I went and got a new pair that fit my foot because actually that size was like a 13 and I have a size 15. So I upgraded to Sperry's, and I've had Sperry's ever since. They're nice, but
they're way more comfortable. They're
I do have a pair of sneakers.
They're just very comfortable.
I have a pair of New Balance sneakers though that I had in gym class, which I have those and I could wear those, but they're just not comfortable because my foot is a wide foot, so I have to have something that allows my feet to breathe. Or else, honest to God, you walk around in a closed shoe all day, it sucks.
Wait, so you're walking around with an open toe shoe? Wait, hold on, what?
Like they're wide shoes. They're meant for wide feet.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right. I got big feet.
They're kind of loose on your foot, and there's breathing room, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I need some sort, because especially when I sometimes wear shoes for 8 hours straight, so I need something to breathe. Like when I went to Boston, I was wearing them for like 11 hours or something. It was ridiculous, but
well, yeah, when you're in the city, you walk around a lot, so
yeah,
having a good pair of shoes is important.
So Brody, where were you going with this? I know we went off on a tangent.
I just wanted to know how many pairs of shoes you own and why. That was it.
How many shoes do you own,
just because
Brody?
they're like expensive?
Because they're like what?
How many pairs do you have of shoes? And how many do you actively use?
I just, I didn't want to boast up about my shoe game.
If only there was still boastup.net.
But
when we do, what we should do an exclusive where we go into Brody's house and video his shoes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, underneath your back seat in your truck, there's got to be what, like 6 pairs of shoes?
Well, there's a point.
Yeah, all of them have their like purpose. I get that.
Purpose. It's about purpose. I got my rubber boots, my slicks.
I like
my
that
rubbers.
Rubber boots. I got my rubber boots.
I mean, I think you guys don't have enough pairs of shoes and purposes,
I feel like a lot of people would say the opposite. They'd be like, 4 pairs of shoes? That's ridiculous. You're being so wasteful.
Are you, a woman?
Yeah.
How many damn shoes does a man need?
That. Midday Mumbles, the sexist podcast.
Yeah, Gage is sexist. Canceled for the 58th time.
Gage gets canceled. I'm not a sexist, by the way. Don't get that. Don't tweet me that. People are going to tweet me this. Gage.
No, but I'm serious.
No one's even going to get this far in the podcast. Don't worry.
You guys do not have the shoes to be prepared as people.
I'm sorry, Brody.
What's wrong with just having...
You guys don't have... I don't know if you guys have winter boots. You guys should have some hiking shoes at least.
I do have hiking shoes. I said I have hiking shoes. I have gym shoes. I have hiking shoes. I have sneakers.
You said you had 4. You got secret shoes you're not mentioning.
No, I said that's a part of the 4.
Isaac's a woman too.
I have my everyday shoes. I have my hiking, like, outdoor shoes. Like, if I'm gonna do something that's active and outside, like mowing the lawn, something dirty, like hiking. I even gave hiking as an example. I have that pair of sneakers.
Yeah,
I have a nice pair, a nice clean pair of sneakers that's for, like, doing exercise, if I'm doing something indoors. Right? Okay, so those are the main 3. And then I just have a junk pair.
Have his own t-shirt. Isaac can have his own TV show, Getting Dirty with Isaac.
Oh, you know it.
Yes.
Dirty Jobs
Isaac,
with
I'm
Isaac
all about
instead of Micro.
Dirty. Ooh, boy.
I think I got enough shoes to get by. Like, I have my running shoes, which are my gym shoes. I don't know. Personally, I feel like whatever shoes I have on is going to do the trick.
It's gonna be the trick.
Yeah, what's gonna do the trick? What's wrong with just having one pair of sneakers that
you're unprepared. Take this hypothetical. Let's have a little hypothetical. What would you do? Okay, you say your best buddy says, "Hey, let's go down and play a game at the tennis court." Okay, and you go to the tennis court. And you didn't have, the tennis court is basically like a sandpaper material.
Brody, are you inviting me to the tennis court?
I'm not done with the hypothetical. You go and you start. I'm not done. You go and you start the tennis match, and you're wearing your casual shoes that you guys keep talking about. You're wearing your Sperry's, you're wearing this. Not only are you slow on the court, but by the end of the game, you're down to the soles. The tennis court material has totally destroyed all of your shoe. What do?
Cry. I suppose I could cry. I could be defeated. I could be like, Brody was right. That's about it. That's what I'd do. You're right.
And I'll be like, I showed you.
Look at how much of a sucker you are right now.
Take this hypothetical, okay? Say one of your best buds says, let's go down, check out this cool thing. Let's say a part of the river is totally flooding. 100-year storm or something like that. The water level's raised crazy amounts. You got to go check out something because it's cool. And maybe there's something in the water. You got to go look at it, but it's like 5 feet out. But the place where it flooded isn't high or anything. You could walk out that 5-foot distance in a pair of rubber boots. Say he's got a pair of rubber boots, but you don't. What do?
I'd probably would be like, I'm not going in the woods. I'm not wearing permethrin clothing. I'm gonna get ticks all over me.
I don't even know. Say it's a rainy day. No, say it all of a sudden becomes a rainy day.
Okay.
The person you're with pulls out a pair of rubber boots just out of nowhere, out of his pants. And he's like, well, I came prepared and you didn't, and your shoes got soaked and your socks got soaked. What do you do? Oh, no, wait. Here's a better hypothetical. Okay, this one actually works. Those last two were totally me going.
Right. Like those other hypotheticals, those are not likely to happen. I'm probably not going to find myself in that scenario. Okay, this one's likely to happen.
Okay, trust me, this one's likely to happen. Say, you call up your buddy. You say, hey, I got some work to do. He agrees. You're going to pay him a little bit for a little bit of work. Okay. Turns out, say you're the person you're the person on the receiving end of the hypothetical. You didn't check the weather that morning.
Uh-huh.
You guys head out, and it starts raining. It starts flash flooding. and the place where you're working is totally swept away with water.
I'm gonna have wet feet.
You walked a mile out to get there, and now you gotta walk a mile back. Say your buddy he checked the weather, he knew there was gonna be a flash flood warning, and he brought his rubber boots, he was wearing them there. You didn't even look at the footwear, and you're out there with your Sperry's helping him work, and all of a sudden this flash flood comes through. What do?
Well, I would be like, I'm glad I'm wearing Sperry's because they have 2 little dumb drain holes on the side.
Yeah, you'd be sad. Sad.
I'd have a wet foot. I would be cold, and I'd be unfortunate. But hey, I'm getting paid, so who even cares?
That isn't even a good enough hypothetical, because even if you did have rubber boots, at the beginning of the hypothetical, I said you didn't check the weather, so maybe you could have had a pair of rubber boots, but you didn't actually bring them anyways.
Well, you have them in your truck, so in your scenario, you're always prepared.
Well, no, in the hypothetical, I said you walked a mile out to get to the place you're going to work.
Well, you sprint back to your truck the second it starts, like, raining at all, and you're riding.
Look, I don't actually know what rubber boots are good for. I use them a lot because I think it's good to use them. Whatever, I don't know.
Do you have a pair of steel-toe boots on you at all time?
No.
Okay, but that's something I'd legitimately say could be useful at times. Like if you're going to go work on something,
leave a like if you found this interesting at all. Isaac and Brody go on about shoes for 10 minutes.
if you want to make me cry.
Right. So
don't do that. Don't make
guys, I think we ought to talk about the minimum wage like Brody wanted to. I really want to get into that conversation. What do you think?
Oh, okay. So, okay. We're hyping it up for the ending. Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
So, okay. So let me present this. Are you going to show the graphics up on screen?
Brody presenting. Yes, I'll show them.
Okay, don't show that first graphic. Well, actually, yeah, don't show
Brody
that
being
first.
Undecisive.
Well,
Do I want them to see this or not?
We'll have to explain the graphics because all our listeners not on YouTube won't be able to see them.
Well,
unless you post links to them.
The first graphic has a line going pretty linear. It's pretty linear going up diagonally. And it says major sector productivity. And then there's another line. The first line was orange, this line is red. This red line is going up diagonally at the same rate that the orange line is going until about 1970. And then it straightens out. It totally just goes straight.
Which one are we looking at?
The first one.
Okay.
Okay, but so that is pretty crazy. That is pretty crazy. I'm trying to find another graph here. I'm Google searching right now.
I got many graphs saying the same thing. It's a representation. The first line is a representation of productivity and percent increase of productivity each year. And then the other line is supposed to show the compensation or the real wage that the workers are getting compared to the productivity.
So minimum wage, okay. So why don't we talk about this?
Well, it's not really about minimum wage. It's about productivity.
Okay. But let me explain this. So when you're an employer, you have, let's say, 20 odd employees and you're paying the minimum wage. Let's say the minimum wage is, it used to be like $7 back in 2010. Now it's like $11, $12. It keeps raising and raising and raising. Well, that means that the more that it raises, the more you're going to have to either lay off your employees or cut their hours. And that means your other employees are going to have to pick up the slack, but they're not being paid anything more.
Bernie, look at the graph.
I'm not talking about minimum wage. Minimum wage and real wage are completely different.
Well,
minimum wage is just a value. It's not really like.
Well, I think a lot of this has to do with a lot of big corporations, like let's say Walmart and McDonald's, these fast food chains, because they can afford to take a loss and be the best by selling whatever this product really cheap to kill the mom and pop stores. And then because they can afford to take a loss for 10 years. They can afford to take a loss for 20 years. So I think a lot of this has to do with those big stores because it just doesn't work for smaller local businesses. It doesn't. And I think we, as a smaller business, you have to expect more from your employees for less, unfortunately, because there's just not enough money going around. I mean, realistically,
we have such little, actual stuff going on in the United States now. Our country is losing its money.
It's hard to say what these graphs say productivity, but I mean, that's not really defined.
Well, productivity, obviously, the less employees you have, the more productivity you're going to expect in your employees. You're going to expect more. And especially as the wage goes up. If I'm paying an employee $12 an hour and they're expecting 40 hours a week, you're damn right I'm going to make them work the max that they can because I can't afford not to.
But I think what it means by productivity is how much stuff one guy can get done, right? How much versus previous time.
But you expect more.
Or just how much they can just produce. Not about just one guy. But,
But how much, on average, how much one person in your company or in however, is getting done?
Well, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that.
Pay them.
I think it's how much the whole thing is producing.
Oh, okay. But you would.
But you can't sit here and say, "Oh, I'm going to pay you all this," because where's the money coming from? How can you afford to pay an employee like this a large amount of money?
They create something or they provide some sort of service that costs money to the consumer, and then the consumer pays the businessman, and the businessman pays his employees.
Well, Gage, why do you think that this 1% getting all the money is like if you look at these graphs, this kind of pyramid scheme looking thing where the 1% and the guys on top keep getting all the money.
But Brody, you don't understand. The top 1%, a majority of their net worth is stock in their companies.
Well, that's out of productivity, isn't it?
Okay. Let's use this example. So you have Jeff Bezos. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but whatever. He created this giant company. He owns a majority stock. He's worth $142 billion. I'd probably say 90% of that is stock. How can, do you expect him to liquidate all that and just pay his employees a shit ton more? Because then shareholders would say, "Oh, well, Amazon. Why did the CEO of Amazon just dump a majority of his shares?"
Have someone look at it. I'm sure there's a way for economists or maybe business people to look at a company, look at their productivity, and see how much
is
hourly compensation actually matches the productivity.
But no, obviously people are overworked. But you can't really solve that problem without having to cut employees. But then you have the problem with you have to expect more from your current staff. It's hard to solve.
The problem here is not that. The problem here is the company taking too much money and not giving enough of it to the employees.
You think that companies take too much money? Is that really what you think, Brady?
It depends.
Let's talk about local businesses.
Well, look at what the graph says.
Good. Let someone speak for a second, okay? This graph, if it is accurate, it is depicting that these people are getting more done, which means more money for the company, and they're clearly not getting their due share. They have been, and then they're not, right? That's the point of it. And that's accounting for all businesses. Small businesses, a lot of them do struggle economically. And, they everything gets handled weirdly and differently. But big companies that just rake in thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars by the second, are they paying their employees what they should be paid? That's the question at hand here.
Well,
I would say what really explains this graph is the popularization or the normalization of massive conglomerate companies figuring out that they can pay their people total shit.
No, right. I'd say that the root cause of this problem is the fact that goods cost too much to manufacture. Like Amazon, okay, let's use Amazon again. They're a wholesaler. So a majority of the products that come from Amazon are sold by individual sellers on the platform. And, you could argue the same with a grocery store, like Hannaford, for instance. They're buying their product from their wholesaler who's buying that product from individual people. So it's kind of difficult to pinpoint where this is. Like, you could be making, let's say, $100K a month, but you might be spending, 70 or maybe 60K on stock, like how you actually are making that money, the product that you're selling. And then let's say you have $10,000 a month in payroll, or maybe you have $15,000 or $20,000 a month in payroll. What are you really left with? Is it really worth running a business if you're literally making less than
is that
working?
Production? Is that productivity worth seeing all the people working suffer? Do you think this is objectively good?
Okay. But
I'm not saying I like people in sweatshops. I'm just saying it's very hard to see. Like, I don't like working for minimum wage. I have done a few jobs for minimum wage, and I think it sucks because you're not going to get anywhere making $200 a week. You just aren't.
This isn't about minimum wage. It's about real wage
root
being.
Cause, because when we have politicians that want to increase the minimum wage every year, then that means that it's more strain on the businesses, because how are they going to make payroll when they're not making enough?
No, this isn't about minimum wage. It's about getting paid at the right rate for matching productivity.
I bet you everyone is worth $30, $40, $50 an hour. A majority of people, yeah.
Okay.
I think you're confused.
I'm not confused at all.
What
I do is worth hundreds of dollars an hour. That's what pros charge. But I don't charge that because I wouldn't make any money. It's difficult. You're not going to get clients if you're charging friggin' an arm and a leg. I don't know. I'll let Isaac speak.
Gage, I think the way I think if you made a graph of your work, Gage, your real wage would be way above the productivity.
No, it isn't actually.
Your real wage would be way above the productivity.
People in my industry are making roughly $90 to $100 an hour. I'm charging $30.
Yeah, that's overinflated, bro.
That isn't really. There's a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of tired hours, blood, sweat, and tears that go into projects.
Okay.
If you really want to define your worth, we can't say, this person does computer work and this person does manual labor.
Isaac obviously needs to say something so bad.
Okay, well, I mean, I've kind of lost some of my spunk here in the midst of your guys' argument. But Gage, you were saying the price of materials, right? So I just wanted to entertain that idea, right? So let's play the scenario. We have a toy factory in 1940, okay, and we have a toy factory in 2015, okay. The differences in them is going to be massive. One, they're obviously the machinery and the amount of stuff that one worker can produce is going to be vastly different. In the past, a lot of things really had to be handmade, and that was laborsome and it took a lot of hours, right? Nowadays, all of our toys are made out of crappy plastic and they're just injection molded, each one done, right? So that means less workers needed. But also another change that's happened is in the 1940s, if you're a company that's making stuff in the United States, you're going to have to get all your resources from the United States. Everything has to be localized. But in this modern era we have, everything is shipped across the globe, every different step of it, You get your materials from Asia, and then you produce a piece of whatever you're making in the United States, and then that piece gets shipped back to Asia to be assembled, and that gets shipped back to the United States to get labeled, and then it gets distributed amongst the world. Everything is so crazy now.
Right.
There's a lot of steps to it, and there's a lot more complexity. When
there's
everything
a lot more money that has to be spent.
Right. Yeah. And
so your profit margins are going to be much smaller.
But when everything would be localized in the past, which would mean more jobs, which would mean more economy going around in the same ecosystem.
But I think if we want to compare the 70s, the 60s, and the 50s to now, a lot of the cause is actually the cost of living going up. Like, so in the United States, the average
how do you know it's the cost of living going up and not the purchasing power going down?
Wages should go up with cost of living.
The average, it should, but the average...
Well, purchasing power should.
Yes, but the average salary in the USA is around $55,000 to $60,000 a year. That's the average wage. Now, I have a friend who, and I think he owns a very successful small business. He listens to the podcast. I'm not going to say his name though, because I don't want him getting mad or anything. But he owns a company in the UK, and let me remind you, the average salary in the UK is around $24,000 a year. So it's like 3 times that in the US. Well, his company is a clothing company, and he's selling about $80,000 a month in sales. That's how much they're making. However, they're spending about 45 or to 50 of that, 50K, on the actual material and the cost of manufacturing the product. And that's not even including the employees. Now, you want to talk about the worth, the productivity. Well, it's a family-owned business. It's him, his father, his mother, and I think his brother does it. And a lot of them aren't even making $5,000 a month or even less than that. They're working their asses off, because it's only them. And I think they just recently hired another employee. My point is, they are really working hard, the productivity, but they're not making a lot of that back because of the fact that a lot of the profits are going into paying for the machinery and the building and the actual materials of the printing, because they do printing, so they have to buy the shirts and then they sell them. So it's about a 50 to 40%
there's a lot more
margin.
investment that you have to initially put into businesses now.
But this business has been going for years, right? This is an older business.
Okay.
So my point is, you could argue that their time, the amount of effort they're putting into this is, they have one guy running 3 machines, which isn't really, you're not supposed to do that, but they're family and they're overworking themselves. So you could say that they're worth a lot more, but they really can't afford to take on new employees. And if they did, they wouldn't be able to afford the minimum wage in the US. So how do you solve that problem? With the rising cost of how much people have to be paid. Now, they're lucky because they live in a country where the average salary is actually really low compared to other countries, like 25,000 or however much it is. That's quite low. Whereas in the USA, it's like 55 to 60K. It's like, that's a huge spike. So if we want to talk about productivity and someone's worth, then sure, but that still doesn't, there's not a magic money fairy that's going to be like, yeah, this employee deserves this, You really can't get your cake and eat it too. You're lucky you have a job, let's be honest.
I suppose you're right, but again,
sure.
where is the money going?
Where's the money going? You could trace that, like I said, you could trace that back to the cost of the material.
Right, but that means that's going to the material company. So then where's the money going in the material company?
Okay, you could trace that down. But like you said, it costs a lot more to manufacture stuff now. And you didn't even, you lack to mention that technology costs a lot to manufacture nowadays.
Well, no, I just mean the initial investment into buying expensive machinery is expensive.
Well, what you had said was a toy company, right? So toys back in the 60s and 70s weren't nearly as complex as they are now. A lot of them have computers in them and shit.
Nowadays,
that costs a lot more to manufacture. So you have to take that into account too. You can't just say, oh, well, why was this, stuffed bear in the 70s, but then now, oh, well, it's got a computer inside because it can talk and everything else, and that costs money and everything. It's like, you got to take all these into factors. You can't just say, oh, Amazon, worth billions of dollars. Why can't they afford to pay their employees more? Well, because they wouldn't have any money. They couldn't afford to. So if they laid off employees, then us as consumers, let's use Amazon as an example. Let's say they laid off 50% of their staff. Well, that's next day shipping that we all take for granted, that wouldn't be able to be possible. That 2-day shipping that we love, that wouldn't be possible. It takes a lot of people. But then how do you pay those people? You got to look at it like that. You got to look at it from the business. And I'm not sticking up for big business. I don't like big business at any means, but I know what it takes to run a small business, and it's very hard and it's very complicated. And you, as the owner, take losses for years and years and years before you even make a profit. And it sucks, but that's how it goes.
But wouldn't you say it's subjectively bad?
Would you say?
the trends on the graph, wouldn't you say they're objectively bad?
Yeah. I mean, but okay, let me tell you a little story. So Henry Ford II was running the Ford company. No, this is a good story.
Okay.
And he decided that he was going to pay his employees more. Well, why does he do that? Well, because he wanted his employees to be able to afford cars from them. So basically his thought was you pay your employees more so that they can afford your vehicles. And then they're driving around in Fords. So, excuse me. That was a very smart move on his behalf. But I don't know. It's just not cost effective anymore. I mean, people, I think a lot of it has to do with...
You literally just gave the example that would fix the trend. You pay the employees more and they can stimulate the economy.
Well,
okay.
Which is exactly what this trend describes is not happening.
But the cost of living was a lot less back then. So let's say this company decided, I'm going to pay my employees enough to buy goods from my company. Well, how are they going to be able to pay their mortgage or their car payment or whatever the hell they have? Amazon can't just say, I'm going to pay my employees more so they can buy.
That is the worst example you could give, though, because the cost of living and the wage that you receive, or whatever Bertie said, the spending power of the money you're receiving, those should increase with the cost of living. That should be kind of balanced, and I don't think it's necessarily really even totally the business's fault. I'm not going to fully pin it on them. I would bet it's probably the localization of resources and production. Because it starts to split off in 1975, and if I don't know, just trying to briefly, I don't know much. I'm 18. I just got out of high school. I don't know much, but I would feel like that's probably about the time that things started going global.
Yeah.
Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. But that would be my shot in the dark theory.
We could talk about this till the cows come home. We could debate this, but the reality of it is, we can't solve this ourselves. It's going to take a lot of people. But we're running about an hour, so I think we ought to end the podcast here. What do you guys think?
I agree. I think this is a good ending. I think this was a decent podcast.
Hey, I'm Gage from the Midday Mumbles Podcast. I strongly believe if you want to start a podcast today for free, you need Anchor.fm. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. And the best part is, it's completely free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer anytime. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard across all the major platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more epic platforms available for free. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm to get started today for free. Again, that's Anchor.fm. One more time, that's ANCHOR.fm. I can't wait to see what you create. So thank you guys all for listening. If you did, like, share, subscribe, and Brody, have a good camping trip.
Well, I'll be back for the next episode.
Yes, you will. I've been Gage.
I'm Isaac.
I've been Brody.
And I'm signing off. But I'm
See you later.
So
thank you for listening.
Gotta go perform CPR and Gage real quick. Oh, jeez.